Hello and welcome to my guide for the best way to solo prep Ceto and Eureka. Today I'll be using Monk, but there are a few other melee DPS classes that have a good AoE, such as Samurai, but I would recommend Monk. You're going to want your Physios weapon, your Elemental +2 gear, and your eye level 300 chest piece that you can get from the Nostalgic Fellow here at the dock by completing BA, or you can buy these cryptic seals off the market board and you'll be able to get your chest piece in no time. With that said, I'll be showing two methods in this video, the first method being the best and fastest way, the second method being more of a fallback method if you're having trouble using the first method, then the second method will almost always work for anyone. So let's go ahead and jump into the first method. So for the first method, this is the DE method, also known as double edge. So you can see I have a plate bearer, double edge plate, and in the top left you can see I have the fairy buff, protect, shell, and spirit of the remembered. So first things first, we gotta group up the mobs, and just about halfway through the mobs, a little past halfway maybe, is when you want to pop your double edge, and then just continue grouping up the mobs. And you want to save your high potency attacks for the tail end of your double edge. You can see there's 38 seconds left on the double edge. You want to save it so that until there's like 15 seconds left or less on the double edge, preferably. So you'll notice me saving my highest potency moves with Monk for that time. And you want to pop your Bloodbath right before you die there. Don't pop your Bloodbath too soon, because then you won't be able to survive towards the tail end. So you want to make sure you wait just until you're about to die, then pop your Bloodbath, and then you should be able to live through the whole pull. So I'm using my strongest moves now, and most of them are dead. Just finishing up a couple stragglers, and that's really all there is to it. This is by far the quickest way to pull because DE is ready in another 45 seconds, ready to go basically. So there's pretty much zero downtime with this using prepping with melees, but with tanks there's a lot of downtime, and with healers there might not be downtime, but the killing process is just too slow. So in the end, melee DPS, this method right here with 7 magia is just by far the quickest method. So one variation that you can use if you are in 5 or 6 magia is just pulling the back line of enemies here. This way you'll be able to survive without the defensive magia, and here I still have 7 magia, but the 2 is put in an element that is not useful here, so it's the same as 5, practically. I do forget to pop your Eureka potion, so do that before your pull, and use double edge about halfway through the string of enemies here. I end up having to use my Bloodbath a little bit later than I like to. I usually like to pop it right around 25k HP, but here I pop it closer to 20k HP. But usually this isn't that tight of a health check here, so you should be fine if you're off by like a second or two. At this point, it's just AoEing them to death, just same as the 7 magia method. And I would highly recommend using this over the second method, but if you feel uncomfortable using this method, or for some reason don't want to use the DE on prepping, then you can use the second method. That said, I'll go ahead and cut to the second method now. So for the second method, we'll be using Wisdom of the Plate Bearer and Bloodbath. I still have the same 4 buffs in the top left, the fairy buff, the protect, the shell, and the spirit of the remembered. I also have food to make things go just a little bit faster because the second method is quite slow compared to the first method, but it is also very reliable. So if you need something that is very reliable, you can go with this. So at this point I'm just gathering all the mobs, and I'll be using my Logos Bloodbath first. And once my Logos Bloodbath is activated, you'll see it lasts for about 45 seconds. And after 45 seconds, it goes on about a 15-second cooldown. During this time, you'll die if you don't use any healing actions likely, So you can either 1, run away, or 2, use your built-in class Bloodbath. If you happen to be a caster DPS or a Fizz range, you're going to have to run here, but since I'm a melee DPS, I have the privilege of using my class Bloodbath to be able to survive the downtime of my Logos Bloodbath while it's on cooldown. Of course, once my Logos Bloodbath gets back up off a cooldown, I will pop that immediately. That way I can survive. Typically, these pulls of using the second method take about twice as long as the first method, so I highly recommend using the variation of the first method if you are on 5 or 6 magia. So I'll just show the end of this here. You can see that I used my class Bloodbath to live, and I ended up popping my Logos Bloodbath shortly after. And there's really not that much to it at this point. It's just AoEing them to death. With that said, if you have any questions on either of these two methods, you can ask them in the comments. I'll try to answer it the best I can. And I'll go ahead and cut to where I show you how to make the Logos actions for each method. So for the Logos, for the first method, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a plate bearer and a double edge. For the second method, it was plate bearer and a bloodbath, or if you don't have any offensive logograms, you could do the martialist, cure alternative recipe, and that will give you plate bearer, bloodbath. Now, as for the Spirit of the Remembered and the Protect and Shell, Spirit of the Remembered is just the first 3 here, Aetherweaver, Martialist, and Plate Bearer. And for Protect and Shell, it's literally just Protect and Shell. Can't get any more straightforward than that. With that said, I wish you luck with your Ceto Claw hunting, and thank you for watching.